Good Friday morning, Liberty AG. It's so great to see you this morning. We're back with one more daily dose of morning encouragement this week. And it's Friday morning leading up to Palm Sunday. And I'm excited about today because today I want to take a moment to talk to you about just taking it a day at a time. One of my favorite hobbies is hiking. I love to go on hikes and I love to backpack. And I always take with me a map that shows me what lies ahead. It shows me what's around the corner. It shows me what's coming up. It also shows me where I've been and how far I've gone. But there's the thing I've learned about life. There is no map that shows us what's coming tomorrow. There is no GPS that can tell us what will happen tomorrow. And so what can happen in those moments is worry and fear can come from looking too far ahead. What can happen is because we don't know what's going to take place tomorrow, worry and fear creeps in. And we get into this cycle of trying to figure out what's going to happen or maybe trying to understand what tomorrow might bring. And the truth is, we just cannot always know. And so how do we then begin to just learn to take it one day at a time, to have peace and to have hope in those days? Because we can't have peace if we're focused on things that just might not happen. So here's what Jesus says in the Gospel of Matthew in chapter 6, verse 34. He says this, "Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." And here's what Jesus is saying in that passage. He's saying this, that tomorrow, there's nothing we can do about tomorrow till it gets here. So why are we worrying about what may or may not happen? Why are we focused on what may or may not come about? Instead, rather, Jesus is encouraging us to focus on today and take it one day at a time. Because while we may not know what tomorrow holds, God does. And in the book of Psalm, chapter 139, verse 16, he actually tells us that all of our days are laid out. And God can actually see each and every one of them. And so you can trust God this morning that he sees our days, that he knows what's before us, he knows what's coming tomorrow, and he knows what's around the corner. And here's the best part. Because he knows, he's walking every step of the way with us. And you and I don't have to be caught off guard by what comes because we know who walks with us. And so I just want to encourage you today, take it a day at a time. So how do you begin to do that? Because that's a hard thing sometimes. So let me give you a couple of steps that you can take. The first one is this. Just take a moment to reflect and remember a time that God went before you and he took care of all your worries. We've got those moments in our lives where we thought things were going to turn out one way and they didn't turn out quite that way because God went before us. So I want you to take a moment, think about those times, reflect on those moments where God went before you and God walked with you. And then second, I want you to write down how God provided for you in those moments and then give him thanks for it. Because what that will do is that will begin to shift our attention from what we worry about to what we know God can do. And therefore, in today, we know that God is going to help us through today and that he will be with us when tomorrow comes. And so as you do those two things, take a moment to reflect on the ways that God has been faithful and then write down the ways that he's provided and say thank you to him for it. Here's what a prayer I want you to pray. Just pray this prayer. Lord, I'm thankful for this day that you've given me because this day today is a gift. And I'll trust you with tomorrow because ultimately I can't control it. So I want to encourage you in that today because I know worry can overcome us. But if we'll focus on today and trust him with tomorrow, he'll be there with us every step of the way. Thanks so much for joining us on today's daily dose of morning encouragement. And we can't wait to see you tomorrow night at 6 and Sunday at 10:30 and 6 online. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a happy Palm Sunday. And we'll see you tomorrow night at 6 for our first online service of the weekend. God bless you.